Hi, and welcome in the fifth part of the lecture about the AutoCAD. So here it will be a little bit longer lecture because I will be trying to go through all of the tools, methods to create a 3D drawing in AutoCAD. So okay, let's find some empty space here and let's try to create some kind of the structure in 3D. And again, during this lecture, I will be presenting several techniques how you can generate 3D drawings. So please do not stick to one of them and don't think what would be the most effective and just try to learn all of them because many techniques maybe in this situation is not the fastest way, but in the other circumstances it will become the right one. Okay, let's go for what we want to do. So I would like to create a 3D frame. This 3D frame I would like to create in the volumetric elements. So those elements should be closed BREP. BREP it's a boundary representation of the object, and generally BREP it's either a shell, either a solid object. So let's make it maybe first thing when you are drawing something in AutoCAD. Let's say that I will have a rectangle, and this rectangle will specify the area of my drawing. And here I would like to create a small frame. Let's say it will have 240 centimeters of high. It will be 20 centimeters width, and I will close it. Sorry, I will just close the Teams. Okay, now it shouldn't be no problem at all. Okay, let's go. Let's copy it. Let's move it, for example, for 500. And I would like to create some kind of the timber timber element. So timber arc. So I would like to have it 100. And here in the middle, when I will create a 30 centimeters. So I need something like this because then I have 3 points to do it. So what can we do now is that I will go for the arc. I will click arc. I will specify those 3 points and I will repeat it. So I am double clicking space button and I have my arc. It's maybe not the prettiest one, but as let it be like it is. So now I see that this is the object which I would like to generate, but I would like to generate in the 3D. So to do that, I will first of all move on my view cube on the right side. This is a view cube. I can click on the corner of it, and you will see that my model will rotate and will give me the perspective view on the object. Here, if I right click on the view cube, I have the option to do it in parallel or in perspective. I will stay with parallel because it's a little bit quicker than the perspective, although perspective, if you would like to render something, it will be nicer. Okay, let's go for the generation of 3D structure. Since those are columns and I would like them to be like 20 by 20 centimeter, maybe I can do it only with just one box. So I will go here first to change the workspace from drafting to 3D basic. And generally it doesn't change so much in the AutoCAD. You still have exactly the same commands, but the different things are appearing in the ribbon. So changing a workspace doesn't really affect on the AutoCAD itself. It's affecting only on the position of the buttons in the software. Okay, so here create a 3D solid box. I will click on it. And when I click it, I can now specify 2 corners and specify the height. I would like it to be 20 by 20. So I have my box. I don't see right now the where are the sides because I am in the wireframe mode. So if I will click here on the wireframe, I can change it to, for example, conceptual. and then suddenly I will start to see the sides of the 3D object. Okay, so I have one box. I can operate on it exactly the same as I was operating on the lines. So I just copy it to the other side. And right now what I would like to do, I would like to make them vertical. So instead they are lying right now, but I would like to put them up. So to do it, I will type 3D orbit. 3D, let's see, orbit, orbit, 3D orbit. I will choose this one. Sorry, it's again 3D, not orbit, it's rotate, sorry. Rotate 3D, it's what I was looking for. Extremely sorry for that. I will choose rotate 3D. I will choose two objects. I will approve with the space button. I will pick up the base point of the rotation, and later I am picking the axis of the rotation. Now I can specify the angle of rotation. I will type 90, and my structure will become vertical. So you see I created two boxes. Now um, the more interesting or more difficult part, how to do the arc. So to do the arc, generally there are many ways how you can do with it. But first let's try with the simplest one. First of all, we know that we have borders of this element, so there should be some option to generally create a surface from those four edges, two arches and two lines. What can we try to do is, for example, to create a region. I type region. I now am collecting four elements and I am approving. So now I have something. I can check what is it. I use the shortcut Ctrl+1, which I was explaining before. It opened the properties. If I will click right now, I see that this is a region. I will move it up somewhere here. Oh, sorry, I will maybe stay with it as it is right now, just to explain one thing. Right now, this region, it's something like a surface, so it should be possible to extrude it. Let's try. If I will click extrude, so I first mark the object, then I click extrude. I can specify now 20, so I have extrusion of this object with 20 centimeters. So again, this is something which worked. It's create a 3D object. Right now I will click on it. I will type rotate 3D. I will choose exactly the same point and the axis and the angle. And yeah, I didn't choose exactly the same base point of the rotation. It doesn't really matter because if I will just move it, it should suits perfectly to my um, um, columns. Okay, I will delete the lines which are lying in the base plane. Now I want to just copy it several times. Since the copy, if I will copy like this, I will type copy. I can, let's see if we have some different modes. I will go for multiply. And then I will go for the displacement, which is maybe 400, so 4 meters for each. Then I have to specify it always like 400, then I have to type 800. So I have now 3 frames based on which I would like to create the other structures, the other geometries. Okay, we have the basic geometry. We see it here. Right now, what I would like to do is to create beams from this element to this element. Those beams, let's say that I would like it to be not 20 by 20, but 10 by 20. So I would like to find the middle point of this object and draw a small rectangle here, which I will extrude. To do that, I will use a different plane on which I'm drawing. So one thing is that there is something which is USC. It's a coordination system. If I will type on it, I can specify it. So I would like to have X and Y, working, so x-axis I would like to have here and y here. It will change, as you can see, the grid. Right now the grid is exactly the same as this surface. So there is many ways how I can set up the UCS, the coordination system. If you will type it, you see that, for example, you can adjust it to the object. If I will click this object, then I can, for example, click on one of the objects, and if it has some kind of the surface, it will adjust the plane, the coordination system according to it. Okay, so if it's working like this, then it should be quite simple to just type rectangle, specify the dimensions of it. So I will go for width and specify it to be 10, and then I would like to go for the um, um, let's see, sorry, I will specify it here. Um, I should not use the width, sorry. I will go back, I will just use this one and draw it 200 by 10. Sorry, I was drawing in the centimeters, so I have to again go back to rectangle, draw here 20, and then I will go for here I am typing dimensions, then I have 10th and 20. Okay, finally I have my rectangle. I will just quickly rotate it. So rotate, and I will move it to the place. So I have my rectangle. As you can see, it's 10 by 20. Right now I would like to draw, I will rotate it, flip it, and I would like to create another one on exactly the same or along the line of this beam, but on the other side of the frame. So I will just copy it. Now I will rotate the view, and I will move this rectangle to the other side. So I have two rectangles, one is here, the second it's here. So if I will just grab like this, you see that I have two rectangles. Through those two rectangles, I can generally sweep. So generally sweeping is going through the different cross sections. Sorry, lofting is doing it. So I will go for loft, and I see that it's generally creating a beam which I was looking for. So this lofting has created a beam from one to the another side. Okay, alternatively to it, it will be the sweep. So I will show you right now how to make the sweep. I will create a rectangle one more time. I will specify the object, then the dimensions, 10, 20, and I will just rotate it. I will move it. I will right now move it in the bottom. I will later move it up. And this time I don't want to use the second or I will just draw a line from one leg to the another inside. So this is the line which is controlling the length of the beam, which I would like to have. I will just move it to the one of the corners, and let's try to use a sweep. So sweep first needs the geometry, then I am approving it, and then the path will be this line. So as you can see, he created exactly the same beam as it is upper, but with the different method. So this was created by the loft, and this was created by the sweep. Anyway, both of them right now are 3D solid. I will now move this object to the another part, and I will also move it up. So this one I will just drag here. Now I can just copy both of them to the other side. Okay, so we start to have a first draft of our structure. We see that generally we see quite simple structure, 3 frames, 4 beams. Right now, let's create some kind of the foundation, for example, a slab, but without the solid, with just a surface. So to do that, I will this time type line. I will start to draw this line from one corner to another corner on one side, and I will just extrude this specific line. So right now, as you can see, this is surface extrusion. It has almost the same possibilities as the region, although it's a little bit more advanced when it comes to the mathematical description. Okay, so we have a surface, we learn how to use the region, we learn how to loft and how to sweep. Right now, last maybe thing is that to place this, or maybe one last thing, to make some kind of the cover of this structure. So let's say that I would like to have some kind of the roof. To do that, I will just go for the arc. I will draw the arc on the top of our structure. So now I should be able um, to have it. And now if I will click extrude, I will be able to extrude also this layer of the or also this surface from specific line. Okay, so this is a 3D drawing. Right now, what I would like you to practice to do is to place this 3D drawing on our structure. And one more thing, maybe sometimes you will see that the structure you would like to, for example, create some kind of the intersection of the structures. It's used. We are doing it with the Boolean operations like union, subtract, and intersect. Let's try to do that. First of all, if I have right now this roof, I would like to extrude it again. Let's see if we will be able to do it. Seems like it is impossible to do it. So what we will do, we will try to move it up. So I will type move. Okay, let's see, move. Sorry, not move, copy. And I will move it up with 5 centimeters of spacing. So I have 2 of them, and right now I would like to loft between this one and this one. So as you can see right now, we should have also the loft here, but this is a surface which is generally its border or it's a boundary on the right and left side. It's not involving the top and the bottom side of it. If I manually connect it, so now I have like 3 elements, one border which is going around, one top layer and a bottom layer. Now I can try to union them. Let's see. So if I have this one, and this one, so I finally have all of them here. So it's the whole object which I wanted to have. Now let's try to make a small box in the, I will change the UCS to be a global UCS. I will go for the world. So he get back to the normal UCS. And I will create a small box in the middle. And right now what I would like to do, I would like to subtract from the roof this one. So as you can see, it created it. It created a subtraction of those 2 elements. I will just see one more thing. There is something which is called the join. Let's see if it will be working better than the union, because union just, I will go back to the when I have 4 elements, even more. Okay, now it's still a surface. Okay, now I see that I have separated this one from roof. So join this one, and this one. I will click OK. Unfortunately, it didn't work so nicely. So let's try if I can, instead of using lofting, if I will try with the press pull, or if I am able to just loft it. Sorry, not loft it, but but sweep. So this time I will create a small line of the size of 5 centimeters, and I will try to sweep it. So I have my surface. I will grab the yeah, and it created it, but I will try again with the sweep. So I create the surface, I create the path, and it is creating it, but without closing. So again, I am typing sweep, mode, solid, and this time, if I will sweep it, it should create a solid. Let's see, but it didn't succeed. Okay, so to do that, I will use the last thing which we can use. But if I will go into 3D modeling instead of the 3D basic, we will see that we generally have also something which is called join sections. Let me just see for a second. Or we can offset the surface. So let's try with one of them. Again, extrude. It's not working. I will just try to I'll just try to offset. Type offset, offset edge, offset surface. Let's try. This is one, and then solid, then solid, and then I can specify the distance to be 5. I'll click enter. And finally, I have what I was looking for, because right now, if I will Ctrl+1, it's a 3D solid. So in this case, the solid, the surface offset was the best. Okay, just to finalize and make it clean and clear, the last thing I will make the layout. So generally in the layouts, as you know, you can create many, or you can adjust to the paper. So first I will click for Ctrl P. I will specify to DWG to PDF. I will set up it to be, for example, A3 paper. Let's see where we have A3 here. I will use the portrait landscape. Maybe I would like to be A3, this one. Okay, perfectly. Apply to layouts, one to one. Apply to layout. Let's go for the let's stay with the colors right now. I'll click preview. Okay, we see that we can finally adjust. So I'll click cancel. I see that my viewport is very small, so I will just move it. I would like to have 4 of them. And as you can see, I can zoom to it. I can, so this will be one of the views. The other, I can just click here, for example, on the top. So this will be the top view. and this will be, for example, a front view. And of course here I will decide to be a side view. And again, here in this mode, you can always create some nice table. You can use exactly the same tools that you are using in the Autocad, and then you can also place the text. So it's pretty small. I can change it here in my text height to be 20. Oh, it's a little bit too big now. Maybe 12. Oh, still too big. I think 3 millimeters is the one of the concept of the hole. So here, let's see, Control P, preview. Yeah, looking good. So at least for the assignment, I would like you to create such kind of the drawing with some details in the table and generally with the structure, 3D structure here. Okay, that's all.